Okay, so these are examples of brands. This is an example of a brand, and they are the reason that these are so successful. These big brands is because they're very, very consistent in how they communicate what they stand for, what the unique qualities of the organisation are, what their competency is, what they're best at, and then they've allied that to a kind of visual image, some kind of consistent look. You've done the work with Darren about your internal stuff already, your values and beliefs. So now what we're talking about with the brand habit, it's about how you translate this into something external. And it has huge overlap with your inner self, but also specifically for singing, what's interesting is that the interior stuff is important because when you sing with your inner, you touch us with what is true about you as a performer, an individual about a performer, and that is one element of a brand. But at the same time, your kind of external image, your executive self, is also another part of the brand that's very, very important because it's your outward self. And so we're talking about combining those two things in your singer brand. And that's a very strong place to know where you stand with that, so that when you come in to perform in an audition or in a performance or whatever kind of situation it is, those two things are kind of locked together in a self-supporting structure. So I would like you to think about 3 words that you can suggest for yourself that are the words you would like other people to describe you as a professional. So think of 3 words for yourself that are like your brand words, that you would like them to be in the head of the profession when they think of you. If it's helpful, I can tell you what my 3 are. Okay. So my first one is professional, which sounds kind of really obvious, but actually that includes, being on time, knowing the music, doing my job properly. All of these things are basic professional skills. I know a lot of singers who are not professional, who don't do those things, and I regard that as unsatisfactory. I don't want people to think of me like that. So for me, being a professional also means you've turned out properly, you know what to wear, it's a sense of appropriateness. All of those things, for me, are contained in the word professional. My second one is trustworthy. And there's a bit of an overlap, but actually for me, trustworthy is also about the relationships I have with the people I work with. I want them to know that if I'm on stage with them, I'm not going to suddenly produce a banana and give it to them in the middle of an opera and expect them to deal with that. Because I do know people who think that that's hilarious. Yeah. And they're, in a rehearsal it's hilarious. It's not hilarious in a performance, and things like that.
I know people that have been fired for that.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. Yeah. And so sometimes you need to be. I think it's very important that that people understand who you are and how you operate, and that is consistent and reliable. And sometimes that means that you're somebody that people trust with their secrets. Sometimes it's just that they know that you will always sing to a certain level. But again, that's a word that I want people to use about me. My third word is inspiring, because I've had as I've described, I have a strange route into the business. I've done everything differently. But I'm here and I'm doing my singing, and I've had some big successes. I referred to them when I introduced myself. I've achieved things that I'm very, very proud of. And what I hope is that when I stand up and talk to any group of singers who might be having doubts about ways to do things, that I can inspire them to believe that actually most things are possible. And we just have to be a bit clever about how we make that happen. So those are my 3 words. I would like you now to write down 3 words for yourselves.